host. Hope everyone is doing well tonight. I will be joined a little later in the broadcast by my very special co-host and no stranger, Mr. Ron Brown tonight. So, got a lot to talk about. Hope everybody's doing well. Texas, snow, cold, power outages. Guys, well, I know, Michael Wright's from Texas. We also know, good grief. Kelly Shores is from Texas. Who else we got from Texas? Our good friend and my goodness, Stephen Fox. How can I forget him? Yeah, praying for you guys. Oh my gosh, that's just crazy. That is just absolutely, positively insane. I mean, seriously, that's ridiculous here. So, yeah, so I have no idea here. No idea. Okay, I'm having some issues here, guys. I don't know what's going on. Let me get in here and edit this. It's not coming up here on, it still says we're scheduled here, and it hasn't started, and I don't know why. Okay, we're going now. I don't know what happened there. Okay, we're all in sync. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, hope you guys are doing well. I got a lot to talk about tonight. This power outage. Seriously, I'm like, what in the world is going on with that? That's some crazy stuff. I mean, we found out now that wind turbines don't do well in this kind of weather. They freeze up. And Governor of Texas is not real happy with his energy commission because there are a lot of people without power. They've had rolling blackouts down there. I saw Johnny Drone Flyers in the house. Well, let's do a welcome here. Ted Bowman's in the house. Leonard Oglesby. Dumbtube is here. Welcome. Matt Cundiff. DeMarco's here tonight. Johnny Drone Flyer. Welcome, Johnny. John Olson, Drone Shots. Matt Cundiff is here. Johnny posted something about having some snow down in Louisiana. Good Lord Almighty. Now, the weather down, will not tell you what the weather's been like down here. You don't want to know, okay? You absolutely don't want to know. I won't tell you that it's been near 80. It's been pretty nasty as far as wind and rain and stuff is concerned, and all that kind of good stuff. So, but anyway, I want to start off the show tonight. You may have noticed an absence of videos from me, probably in January and in this month. There's a reason for that, okay? And I'm going to share my screen here. I want to make sure I got the pictures up here. Now, some of you may have been clued in as to what is going to be going on for Valerie and me in the upcoming future. Well, there it is. And this is what we have been doing. Packing for the move, okay? And trust me, even with two people, it is beyond comprehension how much stuff one accumulates through the years, okay? And I mean literally how much stuff. Now, this is pretty much all our kitchen stuff right here. Valerie has done yeoman's work, and I mean just yeoman's work. And we've actually got several containers worth of stuff that we just threw out. Now, I'm trying to get some things sold. And we're going to have a giveaway. I'm going to be having a giveaway. Some drone shirts going to give away. Going to give away some SD cards. I'm going to be doing a video for that coming up this week, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, you'll like that. And these are great drone shirts. But we've gotten rid of a lot of stuff, and the new digs where the studio is going to be in our new house, phenomenal. Is a double wide window. That's where my desk is going to be. I'm going to be having two cameras. All right, we're going to be amping it up here a little bit, guys. I'm going to buy one of those mixers where we can switch between two different camera views, and get you a camera view of outside where we're at. So that's going to be, I think you guys will like that. And I have some ideas for that room. So have overhead lighting in there, which I don't have in this room. So it will be brighter in there, which is nice. And the color, we're just going with the basic color of white, an off-white beige throughout the whole house for now. We're not worried about, we don't want to spend $3,000 or $5,000 painting right now. So that's what we're doing with that. So that's what Bill's been doing, okay? Combine that with the times that it's been okay to actually go out and when I've actually had time to go out to fly, the weather's been bad. I tried having the Mini up like about a week ago. High winds. I got it up, and you guys may have remembered what happened. Yeah. There were hundreds of birds. I mean, hundreds of birds. This was like the day before the Super Bowl. It was just crazy. It was just absolutely, positively crazy. Okay. All right. I'm hearing a little bit of rumblings as far as some drone news is concerned. Now, I did reach out to FEMI, and guess what? It's Chinese New Year. And I got the automatic reply. And I think they're probably there till Chinese New Year goes till March this year. And I don't know why it's different each year. It's about the same time, but the different dates are different. I don't know why, but I got the automatic reply. So, I'll wait till we find out what, as soon as I get some info from them, I'll be sure to pass that on to you guys. Now, the other thing is I heard a little bit of rumblings about the Mavic 3, just a little bit, not much, okay? Don't go saying Bill said. No, Bill is saying I've heard some rumblings, okay? The rumbling is this, is that it may come earlier than I've told you. Now, what have I told you? Like fall coming, it may come a little earlier, okay? That is it. That's all that I've heard. Nothing on price, nothing on specs, nothing on pictures, absolutely, positively nothing more than that. That's all I've heard. All I've heard. So, that's what we got to go with right now as far as that's concerned. So, it's really interesting to me, and this is one of the things that I've noticed, how a lot of people, because there's so much inclement weather, they're taking their drones up. And one of the guys that I suggest, and I'm trying to get him on and have him on as a very special guest, and he's no stranger to this channel, Rick Smith. Rick has done an excellent series of videos on how to prepare your drone for flying when the weather's cold, when the weather is like it is right now. Let me tell you something, guys, okay? And this is kind of a blanket statement. When it's minus 15 degrees Fahrenheit, okay, that is, you don't want to take your drone out, okay, for any one of a number of reasons, okay? That battery, it's definitely out of the operating range of that battery. I don't care how warm you keep that battery, okay? As soon as you take that out, okay, what happens when and I was trying to explain to Valerie this, okay? When you go outside, when it's minus 15 air temperature, not wind chill, but when it's minus 15, your nostrils freeze instantly. I was telling her this, okay? I said, that's why you wear, when it's like that, that's why I'll even wear a scarf, okay? Because your nostrils flare, all right? It's crazy, okay? So that's, number one, your battery. Your battery is just, it cannot handle that weather, okay? The other thing is this, okay? Because it's so cold, okay, your lens will probably freeze up. Your gimbal may freeze up. The motors may freeze up. And one of the other things that people don't realize too is the density of the air is much different when it's minus 15 versus, say, 65 or 70 degrees Fahrenheit, okay? The air density is so much different. And you could, in essence, you could be flying and all of a sudden, if there's some condensation or not, It could form on your rotors, and it could be an absolute total disaster. Now, flying in winter normal, let's say like in 20 degrees, okay, that's a different story. Follow like what Rick Smith has put out in some of his videos. Definitely look at some of his videos, because I know he's done a great series or several videos on how to fly when it's cold. I mean, I don't have that problem down here, but up north, and I know a lot of you guys live up north, go look on Drone Valley and go search for those, because those will be some videos I think you really want to pay attention to what's going on. Now, like I said, with this -15 stuff, guys, Ted Bowman, welcome. Glad to see you here tonight. Bill Thomas is in the house. Ray Kelly is here. Ray, welcome. Glad to see you here. The pics will be leaked and coming soon, and the rumors on release date, Bill. Oh, Ray Kelly. Sounds good. I like that. It's the year of the rat. So that can explain quite a lot, the year of the rat. Wow. Okay. Just no comment. I want to keep this show PG here. And I don't want to get bounced off YouTube for saying anything. It's just kind of ridiculous. Stephen Ewing, welcome. Glad to see you here. April to June for DJI Cloud. No longer Mavic. Bill Thomas with another piece of news there. Very interesting. DJI Cloud. Wow. Okay. Wow, Bill. That's interesting. That is the very first that I've heard of that. The very first I've heard that. DJI Cloud. Interesting. Festival of Lanterns ends February 28th. Okay, Bill. That's a good thing. Glad you're in the house. Well, everybody say hi to Bill Thomas. Bill has a great show on Wednesday nights, 8:30 Eastern Time. Our very own Ron Brown is on that show with him. Make sure you guys go and watch Bill. Bill is such an incredible drone enthusiast. Has a great channel, great shows, great content. Make sure you get out there and watch his channel. He does a great job. I'm putting a plug in for you, Bill. All right. Anyway, there's been quite a bit going on recently, and one of the things that I wanted to show you guys tonight before we get into our main subject, and like I said, Ron's going to join us here in just a little bit. It's kind of a dry season right now, okay? And what do I mean by a dry season? Well, not weather-wise dry, but and we're going to be talking about the FPV coming up here in a minute. But as far as other drone news, it's kind of dry right now. There's really not a lot in the works, okay? We all know X Dynamics had something going on, and there's been crickets about that. The V-Copter, there's been nothing about that. That's been a couple of things that we thought we might hear something of. I still got feelers out with X Dynamics, and if I hear anything, I'll let you know on that. Apparently, Skydio is still doing well with the Skydio 2. And they're proceeding with, I guess the Army has ordered a bunch of their new drone, which is for industrial military use only. So that's very interesting as well. But one of the things that, and you have to look at it this way, it's very interesting to see how drones are being used right now. And a lot of fire departments and a lot of first responders are using them. And Hey Kestelu's been doing a great job, and he's been following that real well. And I wanted to go ahead and share this with you right here, this article from Drone DJ. Firefighters drone captured burning New York apartment. No humans were injured as a result of the fire. However, 2 dogs were killed. Fire badly damaged the upper floor of the apartment house. A 20-minute firefighters drone video captured the efforts from the fire crew. It's very interesting getting to see what it's like from this perspective. I mean, it's really different here, and that's also good. That's definitely a good thing. With thermal drones such as recently launched Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced becoming more and more capable, more affordable, we're seeing more firefighters using drones to help battle fires. One of the things with this, and one of the things I want to remind you of is, it doesn't always penetrate. Ron is here. One of the things. Ron, welcome. How are you, sir?
Hello. How are you today, Bill? Sorry to interrupt in the middle of your story on the firefighters.
Oh, no problem. Just kind of, it's one of the interesting things because as far as the news cycles are concerned, I was just talking about, there's really not a lot in terms of valuable information that we're getting from drone manufacturers. I just talked about, there's really nothing coming out from X Dynamics. That V-copter, there's been crickets on that. Scotio's come out with their new drone that's really for military industrial use. And really not a lot going on. Bill Thomas dropped something in the chat, which is very interesting. And he said it's no longer going to be called the Mavic. It's going to be called the DJI Cloud. Cloud.
That's a very over word used nowadays.
Yeah. And, now when I think of the cloud being in IT, I think of, okay, that's where all the data is. That's where our data resources, that's where we pool our data from, kind of a thing. And
right. I mean, cloud computing goes back, it goes back 25, 30 years or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's strange they would pick a name such as. Do you think cloud here would indicate it has some kind of ties to the internet, or cloud just based on the fact that it flies in the clouds?
I think it's flying in the cloud because, again, trying to keep internet connectivity with a drone, I think it's kind of sketchy. It is in the house sometimes, depending upon what room you're in with your Wi-Fi. So, I think it's real. I think it's more up in the air kind of cloud kind of a thing.
Well, let me ask you a quick question on that. If that is true, and they call what we think is the Mavic 3 the DJI Cloud, will the Mavic line, will that be a whole new line, and the Mavic line will continue, and a new line is born?
Yeah, that's.
Will that stop the whole Mavic line? Will there never be any more Mavics?
Yeah, that's.
I understand them getting rid of the Osmo name and some of the products, but this one would be a major thing if they dropped that name altogether. Now, if they came up with a new name into the addition of the older names, I see that.
I could see that too. But having a degree in business, companies invest and spend a lot of money in building up a brand, okay, and building up a name. And you've been, from retail. That a lot of effort goes into building up a brand. It's like whether, it's Apple or Nike or Ford or whomever.
Now, I'll stop you right there, Bill. Apple, they don't all of a sudden rename the iPhone something else.
Yeah. So I don't know, Bill's source. That's what he's.
Yeah, I'm not doubting. I'm doubting if it's true. How smart of an idea that is.
Yeah, again, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see what this is. Now, this could be. We'll find out. That's all I can say.
He has done some strange things over the year in namings, like a Spark, a one-off, a one-off product with one-off name. So they have done strange things over the years, but this would be maybe the strangest yet.
Now, one of the things, and I'll tie this in with what Bill said, their marketing director, their head marketing guy, was Vietnamese. He just recently left the company.
Okay.
So, I don't know, maybe it was because of this or what, I don't know. The DJ's actually sunk money to, but, we'll kind of see. Now, Lauren did hint, and, he's talking about it, that it may release earlier than what we were thinking. I did see that last week. I think it was may have been on my show, but it might have been on your guys' show. I think he kind of hinted around to that. So, that's the only thing on that. Now the other thing, and
let me stop you right there, Bill. Do
Sure.
you think the Mavic 3 or the Mavic Cloud or DJI Cloud, whatever you want to call it, do you think the product is basically ready to go right now, and all they're sitting back and waiting for is the perfect timing, or do you think it's still, it's still kind of being baked in the oven a little bit? Which of those two scenarios do you think is the case right now?
I think more it's closer to being ready than not ready. I think they're probably tweaking software at this point in features as far as that's concerned. I think that's what's going on at this point. So, it could even be earlier that they release it based upon now, the world economy right now is, take your pick on what's going on the way the economy is. So,
right. If you're in the U.S. and you're in real estate, you're booming.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't have to tell you that. You've done the you've done the sell and go yourself. So you know how the economy doesn't make any sense at all right now. Even though we have a lot of unemployed and we need relief, other people are doing real well. It's the craziest economy of all time.
It is. It's absolutely crazy because we used a service to sell our house, not a realtor, but a service. Okay, I'm not going to mention the name of it, but you guys, if I do, it's instantly recognizable. We had no realtor come out. We had a house inspection, but we didn't have to get ready for the god awful, get ready for the showings and throw dishes in the dishwasher and all that kind of crap. Didn't have to do any of that this time around. Sold, done. Right. And both Valerie and I were like, well, the offer was like, wow, okay. Yeah.
I live in a resort town, and the house, several people on our street have sold their house during this crazy climate. And whatever they ask for the house, they get more. Usually, a bidding war ensues, and they get tens of thousands of dollars more than they asked.
Well, the thing is, for us, we had to wait because we bought the property behind us, and we had to wait until, and it's still technically not 100% recorded. But it's still part of it, and the offer was just like, yeah, we were pleased. We were very pleased. Of course, right now I showed right before you came on, we're in packing mode right now, and I know how much you liked it when you had to move down to Margate. I know that.
And I don't know what square footage you're going to, but we downsized a ton in square footage, so we had a lot of extra. Everything, furniture, whatever. Are you upscaling or downsizing in square footage?
Downsizing because
okay.
The whole reason we were getting this place was having that third bedroom. That was my mom was supposed to go there, but she passed before we even moved to the house.
Right.
So we had all this extra room, and now we're not using it. Okay, and it's going to be so much better, and then. We have our outside maintenance is taken care of for us, 100%. So we're good to go with that.
When you get to be over 60, a smaller house is a better house.
Oh, absolutely, Ron. And not having to worry about, trimming hedges, cutting grass. The irrigation is taken care of. By your feet. The pressure washing is taken care of. They paint your house every 4 years. I mean, it's.
You get your weekends back to yourself now.
Oh, absolutely. You don't have to lift a finger on the weekends, okay? It's just...
Oh, we're probably bored, everybody, with this talk here.
I know. They're probably
going to send me back in the droves real fast for everybody.
We want to talk about
another show.
About the DJI FPV drone. Now, I want to bring up the article from Hey Kessler, but Ron, did you see that unboxing video of the DJI FPV?
I did. I saw it. I think Marcus was the first one to send it to me. And, it was revealing, of course. And, but I kind of got the feeling that the guy that did the unboxing, he didn't really know much about drones. Did you get the
exactly. Same here. It's 100%. And I don't, it's interesting. Well, his video was taken down, but Hey Kessler got a copy of it and he included it in his article in Drone XL. But that was my thought exactly when I watched that video. It was like, okay, this is someone who is so green to drones, it's not funny. He doesn't know, the first thing about what all is contained in the box and everything. I mean, it was just, it was. I was just kind of taken aback by that. Now, the other thing that I wanted to ask you too, Ron, before we go into it, and we're going to look at specs and some other things in this. Who do you think this drone would be right for? Do you think it would be good for a novice FPV person, someone with a mid-range of experience, or someone who's really experienced?
Well, Bill, I'm gonna send everybody over to Ken Dono's channel. He made an excellent video on trying to figure out who this drone was for. And in the same video, he was holding a coffee mug, courtesy of Bill, the drone reviewer.
Yes, you know what? I kind of led you in for that.
Shameless plug, folks. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Shameless plug. And if you guys can remember our good friend Ken, his grandfather passed away, and he also got some other bad news too. So. And keep him in your thoughts and prayers. He's going through a lot right now. I reached out to him. I texted him tonight and let him know if he needs anything, give me a shout, because I'm not that far away from him. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers. I'm sure he'd really appreciate that. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to bring up this.
To answer your question, I kind of don't know who it's for, Bill, because it seems like the hardcore FPV guys, are kind of, aren't excited about it because it doesn't have true acro, I think, as John Coopy maybe said last night in the chat in Drone Nation. And of course, the hardcore camera drone guys like you and I aren't that hyped up about it. So I don't know who they're going to find in the middle of that. Who is going to gravitate to it. And I ask you a question off this. I mean, I know it's going to sell well initially, but once the early kind of excitement has worn off, do you think it'll be a good seller in the long run for DJI?
That's a really, that's a fantastic question, and a question I was actually going to ask you as well too, because once that new excitement wears off. Now, Hay posted at the end of the article, and I was going to bring this up. They estimate the cost is 1,500 euros, which here that's probably going to translate roughly probably about a $300 difference. So maybe about $1,200 here.
Real quick, it was I think Drone DJ had an article this past weekend, and it's from some retailer in the Ukraine of all places, and they had a price point quoted between $999 US to $1,099 US.
Okay,
that's the first time I'd seen that, so I take that with a grain of salt. It came from the Ukraine.
Yeah, that pricing is probably right. I think here's my initial thoughts on this. I think it's going to pull a lot of people in who are FPV curious, okay, who don't want to go the route of, say, what a professional, and I'll like Coopy, a professional like Coopy who really knows his ins and outs, and even Ken Dono, Ken knows his ins and outs with the FPV right now. This isn't going to appeal to something like them. I think it's going to appeal to either probably a novice, somebody who is new to it, who wants to experience it. Let's say somebody who has experienced DJI goggles and liked the experience that they had with the goggles and thinks this might translate well in having a drone and flying it with a drone and trying that there. I think that's who it's going to appeal for. And I think you're right. I think after the initial euphoria, the first month, maybe 2 months of this, I think it's gonna kind of like level out. I don't see a whole lot of, unless people get it and really like it. Now, one of the big problems with this, okay, is you can't. How can I say this? You can't duplicate the experience. In other words, you can't show what you're seeing in the goggles. You know what I'm saying? Like we can do a screen recording from our apps. You can't do that with the goggles. You can't. A person has to experience it firsthand in order to be able to do something like that. Right. So,
hey, real quick, Laura in the chat's put $11.99 US and $14.99 US for the flybar package.
Okay. Thank you, Lauren, for that. Okay,
and we got Sammy Burns in the chat tonight, who's become a hardcore FPV guy. Started with camera drones, but I think he's shifted over mostly FPV flying now, and he's the type of guy, he may not be juiced up about this drone because, again, it lacks a lot of the things the hardcore FPV guys, the builders, I'll call them.
Yeah. Like Koopy, like Dobo, those guys are going to want to go for the gusto. They like to do their mods on it. They like to they're full on into that. Okay,
Yeah.
and into pairing those things up and building them on their own. There's something to say about that. Okay, because here it is. This is all ready to go for you. Okay, this is
that's good for guys like you and I. We want a drone. We want to take it out of the box, charge the batteries, check the software update, and go. But I think the downside to me and you, Bill, is that the goggles are probably our biggest entry. Or our biggest obstacle is getting acquainted with the goggles. Would you agree, Bill?
I would agree 100%, Ron, because there's no real. I mean, from what I hear, I guess there's some ways to go to kind of experience it. Like if you can hook your goggles up to a PC. I've heard there's some training around that. I'm not 100% sure. But here's this. You go and you spend, let's say $1,100 roughly on this drone, okay? And you go out there, and mind you, it's that from the way it looks as far as the size is concerned, it looks like, it's not, you think of a lot more of the FPV type of drones. They seem to be kind of a different configuration, and I'm going to say smaller physically, okay? Because this actually looks fairly decent size, okay?
It looks like it looks like it's going to outweigh the Mini.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know about the measurements or lengths, but it looks like it's going to outweigh the Mini.
Yeah, definitely. And this one also has, from what let's do this. I'm gonna go ahead and look at some of the specs here. Video shows the content, and I dropped the link in the description so you guys can go ahead and do that, and it shows the full unboxing video. I don't want to go ahead and play that because I think this is haze right here.
We don't want to get taken down here.
No, I don't want. Now it says the drone weighs 795 grams. Okay,
so more than twice the amount of the Mini.
Twice the amount of the Mini. It's battery and props. The flight time is 20 minutes. Battery is 2,000 milliamps. With a removable canopy, okay?
And I did hear, Bill, these will be the type of batteries that us camera guys are used to, not the type of battery that's going to explode or you have to manage down to the millisecond. That they'll be the kind of batteries what we're used to in our camera drones.
Which is good.
That's what I've heard. I don't know that for a fact, but that's what I've heard.
The camera sounds like it's a decent camera. 1/2/3. 4K 50-60 FPS or 1080.
You already said the big number there, 4K 60, so they checked off an important box right there.
That is an important box. ISO range, unclear whether the bitrate of the camera is expected to be at least 100 megabits per second. Video clips are compressed using H.264, H.265.
And before you move on, the important thing in the camera is there, most of the guys now rig up like a GoPro on their thing. So this camera specs looks like it'll be able to at least be as good as what the guys are getting out of their GoPro.
Yeah, I would say that too. That angle of view of 150 degrees is a good fisheye. I mean, that seems like a pretty wide swath. You're going to get a wide view of things when you put those goggles.
Yeah, just to give you an instance, like the Osmo Pocket 2 is is 90 something, so it's much wider than the view you get out of the Osmo Pocket.
Now, Hay brings up the point is he thinks that they'll have some type of image stabilization like they do with the Osmo Action, which kind of makes sense because you're gonna need something with that. I mean, you just can't. It would be unwatchable for you as a pilot. I mean, it really, unless that were a smooth video, you really couldn't. I mean, it would be up and down all the time.
And I'm sure because the Hero 9 has unbelievable electronic image stabilization. I'm sure DJI's got the same thing in their labs.
Oh, absolutely. Now, it says 2 sensors for obstacle detection and forward flight. 2 are on the underside of the drone. It's maybe used to assist during landing procedures. Probably, again, it's pretty much, I don't know if it's going to be interesting to see if it's going to have things like a return to home feature, kind of like, our DJI drones do, especially that this is, and the more that I'm getting into this and the more that I'm finding out about this, Ron, I'm thinking this is going to be geared toward an entry level, getting people's feet wet with FPV, giving in their first taste of that, pulling in, say, someone like you, myself, Marcus, any of our followers here, pulling them in for the first time to experience something like this.
I kind of agree with you. Do you think they'll artificially keep the price lower than they actually should because they want to draw you in on the first one?
Yeah, I think
they'll make money on the later ones down the road. So maybe they will sell this for, much less than we think, just to kind of get people hooked.
Yeah, I think they want to get people hooked, and I think one of the things now, it's well known, and I have known this, and I think Koopy could probably verify it, that DJI does sell a lot of parts for FPV. I know a lot of people buy a lot of this parts for their FPV drones from DJI. Okay, that I do know. So what I'm thinking down the future, if they can make inroads with this, if they can get another core group of people to be interested in this along with their regular camera drones, then they can start branching out and maybe offering some kits, like say add your GoPro or your Osmo Action, get your own transmitter or use this transmitter, use your own goggles or use our goggles, kind of a thing. They might do this. I think they're dipping their toes in the water with this, Ron.
And Lawrence said a little bit back in the chat, he said it uses Rock Study for stabilization. So that's the brand that stabilization they use on the Osmo
Action. Yeah, it works super well. I can tell you that right now because I've done videos with that Rock Steady on and with it off, and it makes a world of difference. It's a lot like what you see on the GoPro, that's for sure.
I'm sure this will be like the Rock Steady 2 or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. Now you can see, the physical size of this. It's I'm gonna say it's probably a little bit bigger than an Air 2, but probably not as big.
I was gonna ask you, what does the Air 2 weigh?
I don't know.
If anybody in the chat knows what the Air 2 weighs, put in the chat for it. I believe this is about the same weight as the Air 2. I believe you quoted 795 grams.
Yeah, and I'm thinking you're probably right. I think it's probably right around the same mark. I'm pretty sure it's under 1,000 grams, but I'm not 100% sure. Boy, this FPV controller, I mean, with it almost looks like the controllers for the Mini 2 and for the Mavic Air 2, almost.
Except there's no place to put a phone on as a screen.
Right. And
that thing up top's your antenna, right? That black
that's
bar.
the antenna, yeah. Now, okay, here's very interesting. It says there's a return to home button. So it does have that feature on here. So again, this is something that's going to pull people in who normally, maybe we're going to take a look at this. Maybe we'll buy something like this.
We love return to home.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, especially
how about precision landing?
Yeah, if what I think would be a good thing is maybe some dealers go out and have some demos of this. I think it's going to be interesting, and I hope DJI puts out some good videos of this to kind of like demo the experience, to kind of like walk you through what it's like to fly this. Because I think a lot of people, for example, two things for me is, number one, how fast these things go. All right, because they go fast. They're faster than a normal drone, and being able to control that during that speed and having the maneuvers. I mean, because let's face it, Ron, if you're heading to an oak tree and you don't swerve out of the way, okay. Now it does have obstacle avoidance. So
well, I'm glad you brought that up, Bill. Now, most times on our drones, our camera drones, obstacle avoidance doesn't work in sport mode, which are faster modes. Do you think this obstacle avoidance will actually work in whatever full flight mode here?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I mean, has DJI cracked that formula, and now they can make obstacle avoidance work at high speeds?
Maybe Lauren might have the answer to that. Lauren, if you could post that in the chat, that'd be very interesting to find that out, because that would make a difference for a lot of people on whether or not they would want to consider this drone, because they might say, well, you know what, this is something I might want to consider this, because when you're flying, I mean, it's just like, I've watched some of Ken's videos, and he does a great job, but I mean, it's just like, it's almost, number one, dizzying. Number two, the speed that he goes at with this is just off the charts. I mean, it's just completely off the charts.
Hey, Johnny Dronefly makes a great comment here. There'll be a couple of DJI FPV drones at Sebastian in March.
Oh, okay. Now, here's a controller here. It said that the controller weighs 346, probably OcuSync 2.0.
Now, I'll stop you right there, Bill. There's rumors that's OcuSync 3 or something.
3, yeah. I kind of heard something about that as well.
These are unconfirmed rumors, but you do hear people say it may have 3.
And 10 kilometers in FCC and 6 kilometers for Europe. And a flight mode selector switch on there, which, I mean, it makes it a lot like a regular DJI controller. Again, bringing that familiarity of the feel of the controller and the functionality of the controller to you as well. So, that's a good thing.
Hey, here's a quick question for you, and I think I asked this, and nobody really came up with a full answer. Bill, as the FAA rules stand as of today, not 2 or 3 years from now, but say on March, when this drone comes out March 2nd, if I go down to Best Buy, pick this drone up and take it to my field, put the goggles on and fly around the field, am I legal? Because I don't have a what do you call a spotter with me, or what do you call the person, the visual observer?
Visual observer, yeah.
Well, am I legal just to get this drone and go over to the park and fly around the infield a couple times?
Wow. That's a question for the chat. That's a great question.
Because I definitely won't get this drone if the only time I can ever fly it is, say, when I can bug my wife to go with me to the field, because otherwise I'll be flying illegally.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question. If anybody...
Unfortunately, I don't have a buddy flyer here, Morgan. Even if I did have a buddy flyer and we both got the FPV drone, after the news wore off, we wouldn't go out together anymore anyways with it, probably. So I don't want a drone that I always have to take somebody with me.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of defeats the purpose. It's nice when I have Valerie to go out there and help be my observer, but a lot of times she can't come out there with me because she's doing other things.
Right.
It's same for you. Susan has other things to do too, and you just can't do that all the time. So that is a great question. If anybody in the chat has an answer for that, that would be fantastic.
I know what, according to what we read in new regs, when the new regs kick in whatever year they kick in, well, we say 3 years, but we're already ticking on that. I know it won't be legal then. You'll have to have a visual observer. Yeah,
at that point you will. And you might have to. And here's the thing, are we going to have the module have to be added to this to track your drone? I mean, it's still considered a UAV, so there we go with that as well. So that's going to be interesting to see how that pops up. I mean, I don't know how that's going to come into play. Now, I did notice, and I don't know if you saw this. Ken posted a note on the community board on YouTube about the goggles, and apparently there's some issue with the software with the goggles right now, because the goggles are available by themselves, the DJI goggles V2. Now, he did post something out there about that, and he said there's no workaround at this time. I think he tried both a PC and I think a Mac as far as trying to do something, and he said there's an issue with it. So stay tuned for that. That was some news that I saw. He had posted separately out of a video, so I wanted to kind of share that because I know not a lot of people look at the community tab at times.
I don't either. That's good. Hey, Johnny Demon, if I'm saying his name correctly, I don't want to mispronounce his name, but he brings up a good point. Not only is you worry about being illegal, but of course, if you're in the field by yourself, somebody can come up behind you and bop you in the head. You won't even know anybody's there.
Yeah. So you want to fly in familiar surroundings. You probably want to you probably need to have
your back porch, right?
Yeah, I mean it's because your whole senses are going to be focused on the drone. You probably won't even be hearing well either. You'll probably be focused on the drone.
Hey, Michael Wright says no matter what the weight, as he's telling Stephen Ewing, a visual observer is required. And that TexArc drone guy, that's Michael Wright's new alias. That's his new name.
Oh, okay.
So and he's a Part 107. So Mike's well versed in most of the rules and regs, Bill.
That's good. That's really good. Now they're saying as far the goggles have an 1800 milliamp hour battery, and it says it's a maximum of 110 minutes time, and it also includes a micro SD card slot. And I don't know enough between the V1 and the V2 what the differences were. Yeah. I don't know what's improved with this. Again, it may be that OcuSync 3.0 with this communication system. So, we'll see. If that's the case, then you can expect that OcuSync 3.0 to come out on a DJI Mavic 3/cloud/ question mark.
Hey, I'm glad you brought the battery up for the goggles. In the video, that unboxing video, we talked about the guy maybe not being real drone nozzle. Remember, he pulls the battery for the goggles out of the box, and he called it like he thought it was like a mobile charger.
Yeah.
What do you call these chargers? You plug your phone into the charge on the go. What's the buzzword for those things?
Oh,
power bank. He thought it was a power bank.
Power bank, yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of key that he's not the most knowledgeable drone guy.
And what's interesting is the whole premise behind that video, Ron. Was he like? And I'm sorry, I forget the gentleman's name that got the Mini 2. And that I had him on for Rotor Talk Live.
Right. Very nice man, yes.
Very nice. Yeah, that gentleman, a very nice guy. Was it dumb luck that he walked into a Best Buy and was able to get one? There's no backstory behind it. It's just like all of a sudden here, here's this video, and he obviously was a brand new drone channel because there was I think maybe 10 or 15 people subscribed to it. It wasn't a lot. And this video comes out, and there's just not, there's no backstory behind it, because I'm sure Best Buy has received probably some reprimands from DJI saying, look, guys, release it when we say you can release it. Okay. I talked to the manager there, and Lauren may confirm this, DJI can slap your hand pretty severely in terms of selling their product if you don't agree to their stipulations. And they say, it has to go out on this date. It has to go out on that date, not a day before. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely understand. Release dates in my business. The only nugget I'll throw in there for is, DJI's kind of at the hands of Best Buy a little bit, because if they pull Best Buy from their approved sellers, where would anybody go? Where would anybody know to go and use to get a DJI drone?
Yeah, and I think that's a good point, Ron, because I think a lot of people feel very comfortable going to a brick and mortar and picking up their product. And, I do, because that's where I got mine. If I have any issues or something like this, if I buy it direct from DJI, it's like, I got to pack it up and send it over to Shenzhen. Right. Here, I have a point of contact. I can go back to my Best Buy, which is 5 or 6 miles away from me, and saying, look, this is this, and this isn't working. It's within so many days. Can you just get me a new unit? And chances are pretty good they'll ship the other one back and give you a new unit,
And other big retailers here like Walmart and Target, they only seem to handle DJI drones like, Spark or the Mini One. They don't seem to handle the full line of DJI drones. They only seem to handle them when they're kind of, a little bit older or whatever. I shouldn't say that, but you mean they're only into selling the budget DJI drones.
Now, one of the problems with like Amazon, buying a drone from them, you got to be real careful, okay, when you buy them. And the big recommendation, and this will go out. This is a blanket when you're looking at buying drones out on Amazon. You want to make sure you're buying them from Amazon directly and not a reseller, because these resellers will offer these crazy packages with it. All these, the super case and these props and all this kind of stuff, and it's all garbage. Okay, it's just pure garbage, and you're paying probably $100 or $200 more for that than you should.
Right. But on the other flip side, you can get some good deals that way. I bought my Autel Evo off of Amazon, but it was off a third-party seller, Beach Camera, who actually is located in New Jersey. But I looked up, Beach Camera is an approved Autel reseller.
Yeah, so that's
and I actually got I paid the same price I would have from buying directly from Autel, but I got a free extra battery thrown in, and some other doodads that weren't that good, but just the free battery alone made it worth. Yeah, and it got here like the one day. I ordered on a Friday, it came on a Saturday.
Yeah, see, that's very.
You don't get that shipping from when you order from China, Bill.
Well, my original, I got my X-Star Premium off of Adorama Camera, but that was through Amazon.
Right.
And I looked it up.
It's very reputable.
Right. It's okay to do something like that on Amazon if it's a reputable seller, like in this case, Beach Camera or Adorama does that a lot. That's one of the things that I would suggest here.
Just make sure the third party reseller is not Bill and Ron's Drone Emporium.
Yes, you don't want to do that, or Marcus, Ron, and Bill's Drone Inc. We'll resell you some Crash Xeno 2s. Blades are optional, batteries are optional as well, kind of a thing.
Returns are unacceptable.
Yes, no returns. Absolutely no returns as far as that's concerned. We really hit the highlights of this.
Well, one thing we didn't hit, Bill. What about this thing over the weekend? We saw they're calling this thing the Flash. Now, some people say that's just an internal code name, but the articles tried to claim like it's going to be called the DJI Flash.
No clue. No,
because right now they're not just going to call it the DJI FPV drone, right? That's like calling the Mavic the DJI camera drone.
Yeah. So they're gonna. Yeah, it's probably that's probably a good name for it. I would think. And it sounds like it's imminent, meaning hey, puts a proposed date of March 2nd out there. It's probably going to be fairly accurate.
Yeah, it's close because of course this unboxing. It was a retail box. It said not for sale. It was sent to some store for a display. It could even a small store. And when what's his name, Acetalad, when he starts tweeting the really crystal clear pictures of it, we're only weeks away.
Yeah, and that's exactly where we're at with this. I mean, it's right around the bend, and I'm also going to think too, because I know from what Lauren is saying, the second iteration of the Osmo Action or the Action 2 is probably right on its tail.
With Rocksteady 2.0 on it. So it makes sense to come out about the same time as the Rocksteady on this drone. Now, one thing we didn't get into either, how do you think the release of this drone will go? Do you think it'll be any type of hype and hoopla and pre-order, or it'll just be like the Mini 2? It'll just be, the date, there it is, you buy it right now, or you think it'll be like some of those where, you pre-order and it'll come, a month later? Or
here's what I think they're going to do. I think they're going to put out a pretty good video, and I think they're going to get some FPV enthusiasts, some like real pros. That I know Kelly has talked to several of these people, Kelly Shores. and probably film a good video and have them give their thoughts on this, because that's very effective. And I watched when they released all these drones, and I'm going back to let's see, the Spark, when they did that, the original Mavic Air.
I went to the presentation up in New York for the Spark. And
when we went for the Mavic 2, those videos that they did of these professionals, and they had professional photographers in this instance, they used the drones and gave them obviously very favorable impressions of it. And I think that's what they're going to do. I think the drones will be available immediately. I don't think there'll be any wait for this. I think they're here. They're sitting.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, last year the Air 2, it was a pre-order period, but the Mini 2, it was just when it was announced it was available.
Right.
Was the way it went?
Right.
Okay.
Right. He's exactly right. The Mini 2, boom, it was right away.
The Air 2, we had the pre-order, like we had waited a few weeks.
Yeah. So, and I don't see any, see, that's one thing I think DJI has done well, is they learned their lesson from the original Mavic Pro, which was, oh my gosh, it was like October 2016. A lot of people didn't get theirs till January, and a lot of people were upset about
it. You looking back and all that, I guess somebody at DJI, probably somebody thought, well, who's going to want this folding drone? People love Phantoms, and maybe we better not make too much of this. People, they may not want a folding drone.
Exactly.
There was no folding drone until the Mavic.
Oh yeah, there was. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it broke ground. It was incredible. It really was. It was so novel. It was so new.
In some ways, I guess it maybe is one of the most important drones of all time, because every drone we have nowadays basically comes from that lineage. Even other companies,
other company, all those
as a Mavic 1,
all those Chinese knockoffs, the $150, $200 drones, they all look like a Mavic Pro.
I mean, the Evos, still comes to the Mavic 1. And the Mavic 2 comes to the Mavic 1. The Minis, the Air, everything comes to the Mavic 1.
Yeah, I mean,
and nobody makes a drone that looks like the Phantom anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, it's the whole thing now has gone to portability. I mean, it's like, when I talked about the death of the Inspire series, I mean, it's, you can't, it's too unwieldy, even for a professional company. My God, you look at the case for the Inspire, it's just like, it would have to go in the back of my pickup truck, in order to take it anywhere. You can't even put that probably in the back of an SUV. It's so big. I mean, it's just unwieldy. And one of the things they realized, DJI wants to go the route of having these drones be more user friendly, and they want portability. Portability is like one of the number one things that people want with their drones. I mean, taking my drone up to Ohio, I was in my overnight bag. It was like no big deal. It fit right in there. I mean, it was like no problem at all. Kind of
right. When you Aspire, you had to rent an extra seat or something. And I think that a part of it too is, Bill, in this day and age with the new regs coming in, everybody worrying about drones. Nobody wants to see somebody pull up and get this massive thing out of a case and set this massive thing up in a park, right? It kind of scares people. Maybe has them call the police. Where you show up with a tiny drone, you draw less attention, Bill, in public.
Oh yeah.
That's a big part of it too. Now, even if you don't need portability, you do need low profile. Almost every place nowadays.
Yeah, Lauren put up, try the case for a Matrice. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, I've seen those. Okay, absolutely. What can I say? I assume you're going to be on with Mikey coming up, right?
Yes, we'll be on in a few minutes.
Okay.
I don't believe we have a guest on tonight, but we will be on, and we probably will. If you want to keep talking about the FPV drone, just stop on over. I'm sure we'll get more.
All right.
I hope this thing comes out, because we're going to run out of things to say about it, Bill.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. Well, it's 2 weeks. I mean, we're right in smack dab in the middle of February. I mean, we're on the tail end of it. We're heading heading in the other direction. So
Hey,
that's
Bill,
all.
can I ask you real fast? How about all this crazy weather over the country? Just before I came up, I saw there was snow on the beach in Galveston, Texas. Is this crazy weather even affecting Florida?
You know, it's really interesting because we've had 80-degree days the past 3 or 4 days down here.
And
Usually,
other warm parts of the country are having what, negative temperatures, and they have snow.
yeah, it's crazy. Well, you know, usually when it gets this cold up north, it comes down. We get it down here too. Okay, we're not immune from it. But one thing I will say, it changed our weather pattern. It's like right now there have been days, and I was explaining before you come. I was showing pictures of the boxes, massive. We have boxes in every room now in the house. On days when I have time to maybe go out and fly, there's white caps out on our lake back there, okay? 35, 40 mile an hour winds. I couldn't even take my Phantom 4 up, okay? It's just like, I can't even fly, you know? And then the days that it's really nice, I'm packing and I'm doing things, and it's just like, So it's like, it's been a while since I've gone out to fly. And the one time that I did, it was right before the Super Bowl, okay? It was a day before the Super Bowl.
You didn't fly over the stadium, did you?
No, but I got up and there was I noticed at least 100 birds, you know, probably ducks parked on the lake out there. And I'm like, okay, this will not end well if I go out. So I just hightailed it back and landed. I mean, it was.
I found that the birds down here, if you stay high enough, if you get real high, they don't even notice you. Just don't get low. Stay like, 200 feet up, and they don't even know you're there.
Exactly. 200 feet is probably a very good. But at 100, no, you got to be at least 150, 200 around birds. That's one thing that I found out, especially down here. Well, what's interesting is, okay, one of the things that I'm going to try to do when we move is, it's said in the bylaws, technically you can't fly drones, okay, and that the only entity that can fly drones is the association there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my dibs ask to see if they could want to pilot for them. Obviously,
you could be the official drone flyer of the association.
I could be their official drone flyer, shoot them videos. And oh, by the way, I'm just going to fly over my house right now or shoot some other videos in the area. I mean, they won't have a problem. I can
just tell them you're patrolling for alligators.
Yes, patrolling for well, yeah, that's going to be real interesting. I don't know we don't have any. See,
you a small dog, don't you?
Well, yeah. Where we're moving to, there's no water behind us, and there's no water in front. There's a pond. There's a lot of very small lakes embedded.
But don't gators like small pets?
Yes, they like very small pets. So you got to be very careful. Well, not only that, the other problem that we have is coyotes down here. Okay, coyotes are a real problem down here. Yeah, and and it's like, we thought where we lived here, okay, I have not seen, but everybody tells me there are gators in that lake, so I believe that there are gators in that lake. The other thing is, we have not seen. Now, some neighbors on the other end of the development have seen a lot of snakes. I've had one snake here the last 6 years. That's been it. So
you're from PA like me. We know snakes.
Yes, this was a black snake, and I knew. And you know what? That's one of the snakes. You leave those go, because you know what they go after. They go after the rattlesnakes. They go after the water moccasins. Everybody said the snakes that you need to avoid, the coral snake, okay, and the water moccasins. And they said if you find a coral snake, okay, and you want to call the animal control, because they want to capture it, because coral snake venom, the anti-venom, it comes from the coral snake itself. So you want to get them, and what they do is they kind of milk them, and then they put them back out in the wild. And there's only certain hospitals that have coral snake venom down here in the Tampa area, which is real interesting.
In PA, you didn't kill snakes because they ate your field mice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, the black, they attack, the black snakes will attack the water moccasins, the rattlesnakes. They do, but the real nasty snakes are the water moccasins, because they're super aggressive, and you just want to back out from those guys 100%. Just clear out. Just don't have anything to do with
Right,
it.
right. You go the other way, yeah.
Well, we got Ron and Mike here coming up at 9. We got Bill Thomas. You guys are on at 8:30 on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, I'm doing an FPV show tomorrow night starring John Doopy.
All right. You'll probably get more answers there too. So please go watch Bill's show. We got Ken Herron's on Thursday nights, as always. Friday night, if it's a first Friday, Kelly Shores is on. It's not a first Friday. So
Mike and Sergio on at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Right. Mike and Sergio are on Fridays.
Chicago just got a blizzard, so I hope they have power. Saturday
night, Art's on. Sunday, it's Mel and Lloyd, Grumpy Vlogger. Grumpy Vlogger's on Monday. Of course, Drone Seekers is still on Sunday afternoon, right?
Right. And then Johnny Joe Flyer and Ray show is still on Sundays.
They're still on Sundays, but they are moving to Wednesdays. They did inform me of that. So that's something to look out for. And I would be remiss, do not forget Captain Ray Kelly's meetup, March the 20th here in Sebastian, Florida. It's on the east coast of Florida, which it's about 2.5 hours from Tampa. It's going to fall right when we're moving, so the chances of us going are going to be very slim with that. And it will be very unfortunate because there's a lot of people there I want to see and meet. So if it's at all possible, but I may lose my life if I go. So
yeah, I was hoping you'd ride over with Ken.
Yeah, I may lose my life and I may get locked out of my house if I go, but at least I'd have a good time with everybody.
So, well, I want to thank you for having me on tonight, Bill. It was great, talking about this FPV drone. It may not be the drone for you and I, but I will definitely be interested in watching all the reviews of it. I hope people that follow us in chat, I hope some of the people get that in chat. If you get it, you want to come on one of our shows, let us know, and we'll try to work you in one of the shows so you can give us, your live impressions of it. And, I'm looking forward to it. But Bill, selfishly, I'm looking forward to getting it released so the DJI can concentrate on the next drone.
Absolutely. Well, ABQ quadcopters mentioned Phantom
Flight
on Wednesday nights at
5 o'clock. Yeah, and Lord the Grumpy Vlogger's on Monday night before Drone Nation. He's on at 8, and Mel's at Coast. We come on at 9, Marcus and I, and Drone Nation. And the first and third Monday of the month, Sean Oz comes on. The last 2 weeks, he's had Kelly Shores on as his co-host.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Okay, and he and Kelly on the road. Kelly was in Denver. Kelly was doing the show live from a hotel in Denver. He had been up visiting Sean or someplace.
Wow, that's really cool. I have an announcement. Well, it's coming out soon. Got some exciting things happening here with Bill the Drone Reviewers channel. So stay tuned for that. I got some giveaways coming up. I got a giveaway coming up this week. We're going to be it's going to be a video. Going to be giving away some t-shirts. I've been doing some cleaning. You're going to get some El Primo t-shirts and got some other goodies I'm going to be giving away. So watch a video I got coming up on that. There's going to be a question. You guys are going to need to answer the question, and then you'll be entered to win this. So make sure you guys watch for that. Ron, thank you so much for sharing this. I think this was we got some great information out to everybody to make a good decision on this. Stay tuned. Watch Ron on Mikey's show. That's always a great time. Ron is the calm and sane one there. So he tries.
We're trying to convince Mikey to come down to the drone meetup too.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. I think everybody would like that. So
and I heard rumor Billy Kyle may be coming.
Really?
Rumor. Don't have it confirmed.
Okay. Wow. Well, I know Ken Dono's going. I do know that. So this is going to be. Well, Michael Wright's going to be there from Texas. I do know that Michael's going to be.
I think he purchased the first plane ticket.
Wow.
And Johnny Drone Flyer may drive his Harley 750 miles straight into Sebastian Beach.
Wow. That's going to be, like I said, if I'm there, I may need to find a room somewhere for a while because I don't think I'll be allowed home.
It's going to be drone royalty there.
Yes. Thank everybody for watching tonight. Make sure you watch Ron with Mikey. Remember, as always, it's a great day to fly. Take care, everybody.